I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I didn't even ask her why. I just left. Maybe that's what bothered her the most. That I didn't give her the fight she expected. That I didn't demand answers. That I made it easy for her to be with the man she had already chosen. I walked out without a word, filed for divorce the next morning, moved to a new city, started over. And for a year, I never looked back. Then, out of nowhere, she found me. Standing outside my door, eyes filled with regret, whispering the words I never thought I'd hear. I made a mistake. But the thing about mistakes? They always come with consequences. We weren't perfect, but I thought we were solid. We had history. 6 years together, 3 years married. I never questioned her loyalty, never thought I had to. She was ambitious, always pushing for the next step in her career. I supported her, celebrated her wins, never once feeling insecure about her success. I believed in us. I believed in her. Then she got the promotion. A big step up. More responsibility. More late nights. More work trips. I was happy for her, proud even. I told myself the changes were normal. That the distance between us was temporary. But then, the little things started piling up. The way she'd smile at her phone but never share the joke. The sudden work dinners that ran late into the night. The way she'd get defensive if I asked too many questions. I wasn't looking for a reason to doubt her, but the doubts found me anyway. I still remember the night everything clicked. She came home smelling like cologne expensive, not mine. When I asked, she laughed it off, said it was probably from the office. I wanted to believe her, but something in my gut told me I shouldn't. Trust is a funny thing. You don't realize how much of it you have until it's gone. And the moment I started questioning her, that's when I knew. I never wanted to be the guy who snooped. I believed that if you had to look for proof, the relationship was already broken. But doubt doesn't just sit quietly in the back of your mind, it grows. And that night it became impossible to ignore. She had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter. Normally, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. But something about the way she rushed into the shower, the way she avoided looking me in the eye before disappearing down the hallett felt off. So I gave in. I told myself it was nothing, that I was overthinking. But the moment I clicked on her messages, I knew I wasn't. There it was, a conversation thread with his name at the Toffer boss. At first, it was casual, too casual. Then I kept scrolling, and with every new message, the pit in my stomach grew. They had inside jokes, late-night conversations, plans to meet up. It wasn't just work. It had never been just work. She'd been careful, keeping it discreet, deleting things when necessary, but she hadn't covered her tracks well enough. And that's when I found it a message from just a few nights ago. I wish I was with you instead of going home. She sent it while I was waiting for her at the dinner table, eating alone, believing she was just working late. I sat there, staring at the screen, my heart hammering in my chest. Not in anger, not in shock, just cold, sinking realization. She didn't just cheat on me, had moved on while I was still here, waiting for her, believing in something that had already been gone. I closed the laptop, stood up, walked to the bedroom. I didn't need to confront her. I didn't need to ask why. The messages told me everything. She had made her choice, and now I was making mine. I packed my bag essentials only. Clothes, wallet, keys. No wedding photos, no sentimental keepsakes. Just what I needed to walk out the door and never come back. She came out of the shower, drying her hair, humming some song like nothing had changed. And maybe for her, nothing had. She looked at me and smiled, completely unaware that in the span of 10 minutes she had lost me. I looked at her one last time, memorizing the face of the woman I thought I knew. Then I grabbed my bag, walked past her and left without saying a single word. Some people beg for explanations, for closure. I didn't need any of it. The truth was right there in black and white, and the only thing left to do was walk away. Leaving felt surreal. I wasn't running. I wasn't storming out in anger. I was just done. The weight of everything should have crushed me, but instead it felt like I was finally breathing for the first time in months. I checked into a hotel that night, just sat on the bed, staring at the wall, processing what had just happened. The reality of it didn't fully sink in until I turned my phone off. No calls, no texts, no explanations, just silence. The next morning, I filed for divorce. There was no dramatic confrontation, no pleading, no tears, just paperwork. I left a copy at our home with a simple note. You made your choice. Here's mine. For the first few weeks, I expected to feel something regret, second thoughts, maybe even loneliness. But instead, all I felt was relief. No more excuses, no more doubt. No more waiting up at night, wondering if I was just imagining things. I moved to a new city, started fresh, got an apartment, focused on work, hit the gym more. For the first time in years, my life was my own again. And little by little, I started feeling like myself again. Meanwhile, I heard whispers about what happened to her. She and her boss didn't last long. Office rumors spread quickly. Turns out she wasn't the first woman he had done this with. And she wouldn't be the last. The life she thought she was upgrading to, it didn't work out the way she planned. And when it all fell apart, when she had nothing left, she came looking for the man she betrayed. She just didn't realize that man didn't exist anymore. It had been a year of silence, a year of rebuilding, a year of moving forward. I hadn't thought about her in months, not in the way I used to. She was just part of my past, a closed chapter in a book I no longer reread. Then one evening, I stepped out of my apartment, and there she was, standing on the sidewalk, looking unsure, nervous, like she wasn't sure if she should have come. For a second, I thought I was imagining her. Then she spoke. "Hey, I've been trying to find you." I didn't respond, just watched as she shifted awkwardly, her fingers gripping the strap of her purse like it was the only thing keeping her together. She looked different, not in the way time changes people, but in the way regret eats at them. Her confidence was gone. The arrogance she once carried, thinking she had something better, had disappeared. What was left was someone who had finally realized the weight of what they had lost. "I just wanted to talk," she said, her voice quiet. "I know I don't deserve that, but I needed to see you." I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, waiting, letting her speak, letting her feel the silence between us. "I made a mistake," she admitted. I don't know what I thought, but I do know that I ruined everything, and I have to live with that every day." Her words were broken, raw, maybe even honest, but honesty didn't erase what she did, and it didn't change the fact that she wasn't here because she loved me. She was here because he didn't. "Why now?" I asked, my voice even. "Because your new life didn't work out?" She flinched, looking away, knowing she couldn't lie. I realized too late what I had." I nodded, more to myself than to her. "Yeah, you did." For a moment, she looked like she wanted to reach for me, like she thought there was still a chance. But that's the thing about betrayal, it doesn't just break trust. It kills whatever love was left. She had made her choice a long time ago, and so had I. "Take care of yourself, Emily," I said, stepping back inside. And just like that, I closed the door. I stood there for a moment, my hand still on the doorknob, listening to the silence on the other side. No knocking, no last-minute pleas. Just footsteps fading into the night. And that was it. No dramatic ending, no final argument, no begging for another chance. Just real closure. Not because she gave it to me, but because I had already given it to myself. She didn't come back because she loved me. She came back because she lost what she thought she had with someone else. And that's the truth most people don't want to admit. If her new life had worked out, she wouldn't have thought about me, wouldn't have searched for me, wouldn't have been standing at my door with regret in her eyes. But I wasn't her backup plan. I wasn't her safety net. I wasn't going to be the man she settled for when the one she wanted didn't want her back. I walked to my window and watched as she disappeared down the street, shoulders slumped, head down, carrying the weight of her choices. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something I hadn't expected. Peace. People don't regret cheating. They regret getting caught. They regret losing stability. They regret the consequences. But they don't regret the choices they made in the moment. She didn't come back because she missed me. She came back because she missed the version of herself that felt safe in my love. The version of herself that didn't exist anymore. And that's why you never take them back. Because if their new life had worked out, they would have never looked back at you. Some mistakes you can fix. Others, you have to live with. And as I closed that chapter for good, I realized something. The best revenge isn't anger. It's not even success. It's showing them that their absence made no difference in your life at all.